Hey, so in this video we're going to go over how to perform a lateral weight shift, and this movement is going to help to prepare for doing any kind of lateral lunges or just loading onto one side of the body more than the other when working in a frontal plane. Okay, so what you want to do first is take a stance that's a bit wider than a squat stance. So say if my squat stance is here, or if I go to conventional hip width apart for the squat, I'll just go out a little wider and find a stance where I'm comfortable, basically going from side to side with the hips and the pelvis. So I want to focus on tucking the pelvis, having the head back and chin in to just grow tall throughout the entire spine. And with the arms, I'll just have my arms out in front of me. You can go arms out in front like this. You can go here. Find whatever's comfortable for you for the arms. But for now, I'll just stay connected like this. And what I want to focus on is shifting about 70% of the weight onto one side and keeping about 30% of the weight on the other side just to maintain some balance. So as I go and I shift, I'll go a little wider. As I go and shift to my right side, I'm making sure I'm putting the weight back into the hips. So I'm sitting back into the hips, straightening the left leg, so keeping the left leg straight, sitting back into the hips so you feel some weight into the glute, making sure the pelvis stays tucked, and I want to keep my knee tracking along the second toe. So I want to make sure I'm not have my knee go in or have my knee go out too much. That's going to throw off my balance. And it's going to throw off the proper weight shift so I can then come back into a neutral stance. So as I exhale down, I make sure that my weight and my knee is just over and tracking over that second toe. And come back up. And then again, weight shift, come back up. So I'm focusing now on the way up. I'm not just standing up, I'm pushing myself up from the floor. So I'm pushing off the heel, pushing off the ball of the foot, making sure I'm pushing myself up from the floor to deload the hip. So I'm like loading the hip on the way down, deload on the way up, and I'm using those muscles in the glute to help me to really come up, not just the muscles in the quad. All right, so you want to exhale down. Now go to the other side. And again, just trying to stay nice and tall with the spine, keeping the pelvis tucked. So I have the pelvis under control the entire time. So I'm tucked, head back and chin in, growing tall throughout the whole spine and pelvis. And if I showed now from a side view, so you can see how the hip's gonna look as I load it, my butt's gonna go back as my knee goes forward to allow me to really sit into position. So again, pelvis tucked, head back, chin in, arms out in front. Now I'll go to the other side. And just a small note, as you go from side to side, especially if you're going to be using weight, be careful not to shrug the shoulders. So keep the scapula down. All right, so I have my hands here, give me some feedback to push the hands together and bring the scapula down and back to keep my shoulders down and relaxed. All right, so that's going to be your exercise for the lateral weight shift. And again, preparing you to move forward and progress to some dynamic movements like a lateral lunge or some kind of curtsy lunge or some kind of movement where you're going to be working in the frontal plane and making sure that all those muscles in that frontal plane are ready to progress to that movement. Hope the video helps.